What's going on, everyone, and welcome back to the channel. Today I've got some more NBA news to, of course, be talking about with you guys. Some really weird Lakers news has kind of come out recently, with it now currently being reported that the Los Angeles Lakers have expressed interest in potentially trading for Gary Trent Jr., and this is all being reported by Mike Scotto. I don't really like this trade at all, and I don't think really a lot of Lakers fans do either. To be honest, I don't think this is the way to fix the Lakers. I think there are so many better players out there to trade for, because I don't think the Lakers really need another shot creator. I think they have got tons of shot creators. You've got LeBron James, Carmelo Anthony, Malik Monk, who are three really good shot creators on this team. And when Russell Westbrook's on, which hasn't been exactly too much this year, but when he's shooting effectively, he can be a pretty nice shot creator as well. And hell, even Anthony Davis, when he's healthy, is still one of the most elite shot creators in the game, and that's not to be underestimated right there. I think when we really look at the Los Angeles Lakers, what do they need the most? There is three things I think they really need to fix this team. First of all, they need some interior defense. Second of all, they need some, consistent three-point shooting. And third, they need a big man. Those are the three main things, and I guess that interior defense kind of coexist with the, I guess kind of, the big man type of aspect of it. But I don't think they need another shot creator. They probably don't need any more perimeter defense. They're pretty good when it does come to that. So when we look at the Toronto Raptors and we kind of look at this trade, I don't really think it makes sense for either team, because Gary Trent Jr. is actually having a pretty good year. And the fact is, he's only 22 years of age and he's averaging 16 points per game, 37% from three. And he seems like he is really fit in to this Toronto Raptors team and is going to be their starting shooting guard for a little bit now. And I really do like the foundation that this Raptors team do have. For example, you have Fred VanVleet at the point. You've got Gary Trent at the 2, OG Anunoby at the 3. Scotty Barnes is, I guess the 4. And then, of course, Pascal Siakam, who I think has he been playing the 5 this year? I actually think they've been running this real small ball team where I didn't even realize this because I haven't watched too much of the Raptors this year. But I think Pascal's been actually running the 5 this year, which is really interesting to see, I guess. I actually don't really know. But hey, it is kind of an interesting one. I don't think they should trade away, Gary Trent. Because the other thing that kind of comes into this is, well, you kind of say as well, because the Raptors aren't exactly, they are actually doing pretty good this season. They are the 8th seed, but I still feel like in free agency, you need to go out and sign a center, or you need to go out and draft one. Then I think what you do is you move Fred, you keep Fred at the 1. You probably play OG at the 2, Scotty at the 3, Pascal at the 4, and the center at the 5. And then you bring Gary Trent, I think, off the bench. And I think Gary Trent would be a really good 6-man for this team. And it would make a lot of sense to kind of roll out a team like that. And then again, I think keep building in the draft. You still got Precious Achiuwa and whatnot on the team. Cam Birch, I still think there. Chris Boucher, who I don't know if they'll bring back. And Dragic probably won't come back either. But hey, that's a really cool thing for the Raptors. If I'm the Lakers, I'm staying away from Gary Trent. I think he's perfect on the Raptors right now. The Lakers don't need him. They've already got Malik Monk, who is that, dude that can play the 1 and the 2, but mainly is a shot creating 2. To come off their bench. They don't need to pay $16 million or whatever Gary, Trent is on. They just don't need him at all. They need to go out and get a center. And I think even though Talen Horton-Tucker's been playing some good ball for them recently, I still feel like you need to trade THT away, because Talen Horton-Tucker is only 25% from 3. He's not a consistent 3-point shooter. What he brings is some really good perimeter defense, and of course he is still, he's still working on his craft and his shot creating, but you're more likely to see a layup and a dunk from him than a mid-range or a 3. So I think what the Lakers really need right now is 3-point shooting, a big man, and interior defense. And who does that best is Myles Turner, who the Lakers are also extremely interested in. I believe that was being reported by Shams. If you're the Los Angeles Lakers, you need to go out and get Myles Turner, because he actually fills in all 3 of those missing pieces that the Lakers need. As I said, they needed a big man, interior defense, and 3-point shooting. What does Myles Turner do for this team? He does all of that and more. So Myles Turner for this season is actually averaging some pretty decent stats. I think he's yet again having a pretty underrated season. 6'11" at center for the Indiana Pacers. Has played 40 games, started all 40, and is dropping 13 points per game, 7 rebounds, and is shooting 35% from 3. Like, those are pretty decent numbers if we all, do kind of look at it. And that's in only 30 minutes per game. I could see him averaging around, 33 or so for this Los Angeles Lakers team. It's also the biggest thing I think to mention is actually that he's averaging 2.9 blocks per game, which I believe is, leading the league. And he is, again, statistically one of, if not the best interior defender in the league. I think Rudy Gobert is still in front of him. And, Jarrett Allen, you could potentially say, is in front of him as well. But again, you look at Myles Turner, he is right there amongst all of those big men as one of the best interior defenders in the league. He would help out so much because we've seen AD this season. Like, AD, it's really hard to put, what AD is defensively wise. Like, one game he'll be the best defender in the game and he'll have like 3 blocks and just go off, and the next game he'll just legitimately give up on plays, whether that's in the perimeter or the interior. Anthony Davis, the reason he's never been able to play center is just based on the fact that he always has this tendency to give up on the play and just doesn't really care enough to go out and get the rebound. Myles Turner's not exactly the greatest rebounding center out there, but I think this is mainly just because Domantas Sabonis is on his team and he's averaging like 11 rebounds a game. So I think you kind of take away, because Sabonis is still like he acts like the main rebounder on the team. So if Turner came on the Lakers and he was like the main rebounder on the Lakers, I could see his rebounding going up to around 10 per game for the Los Angeles Lakers team. Then again, there's the other factor that 3 blocks per game with consistent interior defense every single game would make the Lakers a way better defensive team, because right now they're playing LeBron James and Carmelo Anthony as their centers, with Dwight Howard getting some minutes, here and there. I think, if you were to bring in Myles Turner and get AD back from injury, your interior defense would go up so much and would absolutely skyrocket for the team. So I just think Myles Turner is a must. He is a better player to bring in than Gary Trent Jr. for the team, and I think it just makes a lot more sense. The only thing that I can say is, though, I think both of those players would be pretty similar value in the league now, because Myles Turner's value seems like it has fallen a little bit as he's gotten more and more underrated at times. But then I want to say it's a little bit higher now, just based on the fact that it looks like Dallas and Charlotte are 2 extremely interested teams in him, as well as the Lakers, who I think will probably be the favorites to get him. Both of those teams desperately need a center who can defend the interior, as, both of them really don't have anyone that can do that. Dallas have Dwight Powell, who's just not that guy. I'm sorry to say he's not that guy. Kristaps, of course, just needs to play the power forward. He's not a consistent enough interior defender as well. And then you look at the Hornets, they're in, I think, need more desperate than what the Mavericks are, because they have legitimately no one. They've got Plumlee, and I think their backup center's PJ Washington, who I would say is more of a, he's definitely not an interior defender. He's definitely a more perimeter defender, if you ask me. So that's a pretty interesting one there too. So I think Lakers 100% should go out and try and get Myles Turner over Gary Trent. What I think Gary Trent would probably be an unprotected first round pick, Talon Horton-Tucker, and another player here and there like Kendrick Nunn. And I think for Myles Turner, it would be Kendrick Nunn, Talon Horton-Tucker, a first round pick, and and a protected first round pick. Those who want to say that Myles Turner is not worth 2 first round picks you're kidding yourself, because I guarantee you, if they don't offer the Pacers 2 first round picks, I know the Hornets and the Mavericks will damn well do the same thing. So again, I don't understand why they're interested in Gary Trent. He's not the player they need on this Lakers team right now. They've got a bunch of shot creators. They desperately need some interior defense, and I think Myles Turner is the guy who can bring that. And honestly, if I was them, I would scout to see if I could find some other young center who can come in and help defend the interior as well. I'm not too sure who will be out there, but if I was them, I would stick to trying to play more of AD at the power forward. So again, I'd look for a young backup center out there who you can probably get for pretty cheap, or maybe want to go out and try and trade for. Again, I'm not exactly too sure who that guy would be, but I'm sure there's one going to be out there. But of course, I would very much like to hear all of your thoughts and opinions on this down below. Of course, don't forget to subscribe to my gaming channel, MIRO/vlogging channel, and this channel for all the latest NBA content and NBA news. Of course, don't forget to check out, you know, kind of all those other channels. Comment your thoughts and opinions down below. Do you guys think the Pacers should, of course, go out and get Myles Turner? Or the Lakers, rather, should go out and get Myles Turner? Or do you think they should get Gary Trent? Of course, I would definitely really like to know. But as I was saying, I wanted to thank you guys so much for watching. Please make sure to leave a like, subscribe, and comment. And I'll see you guys next time. Goodbye.